Say that again? He said, because your customers won't need you if you start using these items. And in the back of my head, I was like, that's got to be the biggest crap I've ever heard. You know, and everybody wants to market this stuff like a crop, right? Like it's just going to disappear and you have to keep flooding it and flooding it and flooding it away from the store. So I finally just bite the bullet. I said, well, if he says it's wrong, I'm going to do it. You know, if he says that my customers won't need me, I'm going to do it for sure, because that's exactly what my customers need. I need to get their lawns to a point where they won't need me. So I started diving into humates. I started looking into boron and magnesium and molybdenum and all the good stuff. Fast forward 2 years after that, I get a phone call from another one of my suppliers that says, "Cause there's this guy named John. It's like talking to you. He drives me nuts. He keeps talking about the soil and the roots and how there's something better. And he might have the missing answers to the questions that we can't answer for you." And so, what was that, John? 2 years ago?
It's been that, yeah. Right now, about 2 years ago now.
So 2 years ago, I meet up with John, and he starts telling me the interactions between the micronutrients. And I just start shaking my head, and John's asking me, well, why are you shaking your head? I'm like, because I knew the answers, I just didn't know the why. And now you're telling me the why. So we start using John's products instantly. The lawns start reacting. The lawn's definitely next level. So aside from that, my bigger problem came, which was the homeowners. Once I got the solution fixed and I got the soil and the dirt right, the homeowners kept calling over and over and over, "Hey, I need you to check this out." So I had to stop the bleeding because people were canceling. And I go out there and the lawn's dry. I said, "Well, the lawn's dry." And they're like, "No, it's not. Prove it." I thought, "Oh, crap. I got to prove it now?" So I grab a screwdriver and I stick it in the green part, and it goes straight down, just straight in, no problems. So I go to the dry part that I say is dry, and I stick it in, and it only goes half an inch. And you laugh, right? I've been doing this for months, and this lady grabs my screwdriver. She's like, "No, that's crap." She grabs it and starts shoving it into the ground as hard as she can do it. And I was just like, that's not how it works. And no matter what I said, if people couldn't see it, they couldn't figure it out. So I started developing these processes of pattern, color, water tests, debris and thatch density, and pull testing, just to make sure that everything was balanced. And so the biggest thing that I'm preaching now is balance. There's going to be an imbalance. In the video that I'm watching later on today, my technician made an error that caused balance, which was kind of funny. The lawn was completely out of whack, and it was tied up. And just one accidental ingredient, poof, everything goes normal. But there's no happenstance. My preaching is, do the work, get out there, don't do the guesswork. Everybody wants to throw the kitchen sink at the wall these days. The suppliers, you go to the local dealers, they're going to tell you, "Hey, get this bag," and you say, "Why?" And I go, "Well, that's because it's the summer blend." Well, look at the lawn, let it tell the story, but that's it, guys. Appreciate your time.
Okay, so my deal, I just like to mow grass, really. I love to mow grass. I don't know the science. I don't really care. I want to know about the science, but it's not a big deal to me because I just put products on the lawn and they work. And so for me, I've kind of always been, I guess, a little bit into lawn care. My parents are they're yard crazy. They always kind of have been. As a kid, I never really liked working in the lawn or in the landscape. But they always kind of made me do it, and I was pulling weeds, and I was just kind of doing unenjoyable things as a kid, and I pretty much vowed I'm never gonna have a lawn like that, I'm never gonna have a yard like that, because I don't wanna have to do all that work. My mom has tons of perennials that she's always managing and all this stuff, and so I was removed from that for a lot of years. When I got my own house, that is when I took ownership of my place. And I just, had a desire to make it look cool. So we've always mowed the lawn at my parents' house. I've always done that as a kid. We've always mowed it short. I grew up here in Orem, and we always mowed it short. Not as short as I'm doing now, and we didn't have a cylinder rail mower, but we always kind of cut it at about 1.5 inches or 2 inches, maybe 2 inches, and we just always liked the way it looked. I remember growing up, my dad would just be out there. We always did seed. We never did sod. We always put seed down, and I never understood. My friends and neighbors were all doing sod. Dad, why aren't you doing sod? Oh, this is a better product. Okay, whatever. And he would spend hours leveling the ground before we put the seed down, dragging and dragging and dragging. And I just remember that, and then we put the seed down, and then, a year later, it was beautiful. It was always smooth and very nice, and so I always appreciated that, because I did do the mowing growing up. And so that kind of transition to, I've always mowed my whole life, wherever I've been, I've always mowed the lawn. I haven't necessarily taken the care like I am now. So I kind of always wanted to do that. So when I did my lawn now, I grew it from seed. I've been in that house since January of 14, so 4 years I've been in that house. And I just grew it from seed. I paid somebody to come put hydro seed down, but I specifically said, I want this blend of seed. Don't give me your crap, because they were trying to sell me this, and I said, no, I don't want that crap. I want these seeds, and so we put it in there, and it was a struggle at first, and it took a little while to get going. And I started mowing it with my rotary mower for maybe a year or something, and that's all I had. But I was just kind of continually working it down with the rotary mower. I kind of was always keeping it short, and everybody around me was giving me flack. Everybody. Why are you seeding? Why are you cutting it that short? Why are you out there so much? Why? They're all just giving me crap. And I'm like, you wait and see, It may look bad right now, but just wait, Because they're like, well, it's so patchy, it was growing in from the seed. And so I got hell for that. And I still do to this day. Everybody around me wants to first compliment me and then slam me for, you spend too much time out there, you should be spending time with your kids and family, and yeah, that could be the case, but I love being out there. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. So when I come home from work, I work from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or whatever. I get home from work, and I'm a general contractor. I work for a general contractor. Everybody wants to know that question. What do you do for work? I work for a general contractor. So I get off at 5, and I go straight to the lawn. I go straight into the lawn. I don't even go inside. I'm in the lawn, and I'm just seeing what's going on. And so the part that really kind of took my lawn from pretty good, and I got a lot of compliments when I was just with the rotary, but where it really went to the next level and skyrocketed was when I got the greens mower, the Toro Greensmaster 1000. And he was using that. I brought it today. And so, anyways, that is where my lawn really skyrocketed to the next level. And I just wanted to go down and down and down. And the stripes and, yes, I do spend a lot of time in my lawn. Yes. Do I want to disclose the number of hours that I put into my lawn? I don't know if I want to do that. But I do, I am out there every day, Monday through Saturday I'm out there. And so, I don't know, I just love it. It's really fun to me. The one thing I love about grass is that you can physically see the difference. So you're mowing it, and literally within about one season, if you're kind of giving it a lot of attention, you can see the big difference. You could take a lawn from pretty bad in one season to pretty good. You know, with some weed control and with proper mowing techniques. That's what I really love about grass. You can just see you can physically see it, and it doesn't take that long to recover. So, so the lawn rebel thing, I didn't name myself that. Somebody on the lawn forum named me that. His name's Ridge Runner. He kind of suggested that, so I just kind of went with it. And the reason that that kind of came to pass with the lawn rebel is that I do everything non-traditional of what everybody else is preaching. I'm cutting low, I'm not worrying about my fertilizer, I'm watering it maybe more than I should, and I'm just doing everything controversial. It literally is controversial, and people will give me hell for that. If you read in the comment sections of some of my videos, there's some bad stuff in there, but I don't delete the comments. I leave them in there because I'm not going to be that guy that goes in and deletes comments. I'm not going to do it. So, but I love it. It is so fun for me. I'm willing to try pretty much everything. I'm willing to try it. A lot of people are scared to try this or try that on their lawn. I'll go for it. If it kills my lawn, then it's not a big deal. I'll just replant it and go with it. Yeah, I've got a lot of time into it, but it's not a big deal. You know, if I put a product on there, it burns. Especially in our area, Kentucky bluegrass, it's resilient. You could do anything to that grass and it will just come back. You know, it's awesome grass, but anyway, so that's kind of my story. Where do I see myself going in the future? I don't know. I'm the kind of guy that kind of gets really heavy into things and just kind of focuses, and you know, I'm all about that, and then I'll kind of master that, and I will move on to something else. And maybe this is just a small phase for me. I don't know. I hope not, because I've been gardening for a lot of years. I love to grow, you know, vegetables and my raspberries and everything that we got growing up there. It's an awesome place to be. I love it. So somebody was asking me about the video production. Saying, how much time do you spend on video production versus, you know, working in the lawn? So the video production, I will spend hours and hours and hours doing video production. It sounds crazy, but you're like literally sitting at the computer for 6 to 8 hours, if not longer at times, to make a little, you know, 5 to 8 minute video. It's just a lot of time that you put into making it. And is it worth it? I don't know, but I kind of made a video. I never really intended to be on YouTube. That's the crazy thing. I never intended to be on YouTube. Yeah, I kind of wanted to be there, but I never kind of intended it to be in this fashion. And like John was saying, the community is awesome. Like, it's exactly what you said. I didn't really know that there was this community. You know, I just like to cut grass, and then I found the lawn forum, and then I started kind of posting some videos for those guys to see, and then you guys started watching, and then they're like, hey, can you make another one? Oh, sure. Can you make another one? And it just kind of happened, you know? I wasn't planning on doing YouTube, but it just kind of evolved and happened, which is so weird. And I met so many cool people. You know, I spent some time with Alan the Lawn Care Nut, met John, I've met Matt Martin, I've met Pete, you know, Ryan Knorr. I've talked to all these people. You know, I have them on my cell phone and we text. You know, it's fun to see these people and to be a part of this community. Did I want to go to GAE? I absolutely did. But it just didn't work. The flight was like $1,200. And I just said, I'm not going to do that. So I decided, we went down to southern Utah, Hanksville area, and went motorcycle riding. And that was way, way, way fun. And I got to spend the time with my kids and my family and some other families, and we were all together. Next year, am I going to go to GIE? Absolutely. When I saw those videos and pictures of everybody together, I was like, dang it. I really missed out. I should have gone. But at the same time, I was with my kids, and we had an awesome time together. So anyways, that's kind of my story in a nutshell. And I'm sure we'll get some questions if you guys want to ask me some stuff. I'm sure we'll get to that at some point in time.
Great. What do you want to do, Jeremy?
Let's go ahead and open it up for questions.
Yeah.
Of course.
Question. You said you're willing to try anything. Are you going to try toe shoes?
No.
Why?
On the lawn.
I heard
On the lawn.
90% of his success is
So,
What about no shoes? Toe shoes?
I am a shoe guy. You know, people make these funny comments on YouTube. They're like, he's probably the guy that makes everybody take their shoes off when they come in the house. No, I'm a shoe guy. I'm offended when I come to your house and you ask me to take my shoes off. No, I'm not taking my shoes off. If you want me to come in, I'm not taking them off. I'll stay outside. So, yeah, so I am willing to try anything. A couple of weeks ago, I tried that stuff called Choice O2. It's just some formula this guy came up with. And I got hell for that video. People were like, you're damaging the environment, you shouldn't use this stuff, this is nuclear. And I was like, you know, they said it's good, so I'm gonna try it. And it didn't do anything to my lawn. Like, I didn't see any negative effects of it. I applied it probably 3 weeks ago, and it's fine. You know, the grass right now is pretty well dormant. It's not growing anymore,
The
but yeah.
sulfur flux,
The-
whatever it is.
Deuterium
Yeah, that's right,
sulfate, or
deuterium.
somebody said it was basically straight citric acid or some kind of acid, and you know, I need acid on my lawn because my pH is 8 and it needs to come down. And so I was willing to try that. He said it's a pH neutralizer. So
It's basically a heavy water. It's like sulfur and H2O2. They just do a
yeah,
reaction.
H2 is what people were
Yeah,
calling
so
it.
it's a very heavy acid and it contains tons of oxygen, so it'll chew through stuff.
Yeah, and they said it's
It takes
supposed to
it
coat all the way down and help the roots or help with drainage or something like that. And, you know, people were all over me for that video. I took that video down and people were like, oh, put it back up. So I put it back up, and I just, you know, I'm trying not to do things that are super controversial. You know, I'm trying to be like, do I monetize YouTube? Do I not monetize YouTube? Do I just want to mow grass? But, you know, at the same time, what you guys see on YouTube, that is me. You know, that is me through and through, for real. Like, I'm not trying to put on a show for YouTube or anything like that. That is me. You know, and, you know, sometimes some things come out of my mouth, and sometimes I'll edit things out, but a lot of times I'll just leave the weird stuff in, because it's funny. Sometimes it's funny. So, yeah.
The reason I found you on YouTube was because you was a comment way back in the States last spring. You're comparing working in your yard and what you love your yard is like comparing to a marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's your marriage doing?
Yeah.
Especially when you cut the trees.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Let's get right in.
A lot of people will say you're spending too much time on your lawn and not in your marriage. Okay, maybe, yeah. But here's the deal. My wife is cool. She's awesome. She understands and knows that if that's going to make me happy, she's all about it. She wants me to be in the lawn because she knows that makes me happy. And so she's cool with it, you know. And if I'm in the house, what else am I doing anyways? I'm sitting on the couch looking at my phone.
And other people's grass.
You know, it's like, yeah, looking at grass. So yeah, it is fun, and we're cool. She's good with it. A lot of people said, "How does your wife handle this?" And you know, yeah, she would like me to spend less time, but at the same time, like, she knows it makes me happy. So, and that's the deal with the cottonwood trees. I hate those trees. I want them gone because they're just trash trees. But she let me cut them down, or cut a few of them down, because she knows in the long term that that's what I want. So she doesn't want them to be cut down only for the reason that they are mature and they are there and they provide shade and they're kind of, you know, a privacy blocker and all that. But they're gone. They're going. They won't be there for, you know, another year or so. I'll cut the rest of them down. So, anyways. Anybody else have any questions for anybody else?
I actually have a question for you. So when previous to spraying the lawn and stuff like that, were you even considering like soil composition and like did you test it, or was it just kind of like, let's just make it level and go to town?
Yeah. No
Do you
test.
regret that?
No.
No?
Why would I?
Just kind of after the fact, like trying to change, things that maybe it was, too clay or, and now you're struggling to try and,
A little
get back to
bit,
where-
maybe a little bit.
I guess that's what I'm asking.
I guess the only thing that I maybe possibly regret is I did not save the tag that was put into the hydroseeder of the seed. So I don't know exactly 100% of what seed. I'm pretty sure I know which ones it is, but I don't know for sure. I was gonna put a lawn in regardless, and then I don't know what kind of options I really have. I know I wanted strictly Kentucky blue. I didn't want fescue, and I didn't want perennial rye. It was just all Kentucky blue. A couple years later, I did introduce perennial rye, and that stuff is incredible. It is so awesome. It stripes amazingly. It cuts, it grows up in a week, and you're cutting it. It's just a fantastic lawn. But no, I didn't become lawn crazy until it was already all established. Really. So, yeah. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead.
No, so go back, put in the perennial rye, as a Kentucky still, like I said, it takes 3 years for a Kentucky to form mature.
Yeah.
Is Kentucky pushing it with some of that rye?
Is
Because
there
they say
Kentucky?
you put perennial rye in to make sure when you first start rye, they get established. They say, well, over 5 years, it's actually Kentucky takes over. I'm just wondering if that, you found that out.
Take over the rye?
Yeah.
Well, I introduced the rye after it was pretty well fully established. And so it's hard to say exactly kind of what blend I have right now. Because when I look at the lawn, I see Kentucky blue, but then I can see spots of rye that I know that's rye because it looks different. It feels to me like it's primarily Kentucky blue. I don't know for sure, but I put hundreds of pounds of rye on the lawn, like literally a lot of pounds of rye, and I love that grass. Would I recommend using rye trying to establish your lawn? No, I wouldn't. I was trying to talk Ryan Nor into only doing Kentucky blue. He wouldn't listen to me because he's like, I'm too impatient. I said, just do it. Only do Kentucky blue because that is the elite of grass, really. And so with the Kentucky blue, you can always put rye in later. It's easy to add rye to your lawn, but getting rid of it pretty much takes glyphosate. So start with Kentucky blue, and then if you want to add rye, just add it. Easy. So if you're starting your lawn from scratch or you're going to do a renovation, I say just only do Kentucky blue. Maybe do several varieties of Kentucky blue. So anyways, what do you
I like doing just a lot hobbyist, I guess. I start finding lawn machinery is extremely hard or expensive for just an average guy. Is there two things, I guess, maintenance for blade sharpening real, right? Is there a form for that, or do you have a way of doing it yourself? And then also, how to find that equipment for somebody like us that isn't mowing all the time, or big pieces of grass.
So like a cylinder mower?
No, real. Yeah. Yeah. So I talked to a few people. They buy an old golf course mower. I've called around, haven't really kind of loved this area. I've tried Googling it and finding people from different parts of the country, but it doesn't really, it's still really expensive. So I ended up with a California trimmer, but I'm interested in moving to more like a...
So you have a California trimmer?
Yeah. But
That's a good mower.
It is. It's easy to use. I don't know where to take it for blade sharpening. Maybe call a landscaper that...
So the guy that I used to sharpen my blades,
Yeah.
I found him and he didn't want to talk to me at first.
Right.
He's like, well, I only deal with golf courses, I'm not doing homeowner market, I don't want to sharpen your mower.
And that's the feedback I get.
Yeah, that's what he said. But I said, just please do it, I promise I'll pay you. He got burned by some homeowners that didn't pay him. And so he's like, I'm done with homeowners. I'm not doing homeowners anymore. Because they didn't pay me. I said, dude, I'll pay you. You know, I'm not scared to pay what he'll pay. Even if it's overcharged, sometimes I feel like some of the things he does are a little bit more. And so I take it to him, and then I asked him, somebody asked me for a reference to him, and I asked him, I said, do you want to take on more clients? And he told me no. He's like, I can't take on any more clients. So I have another couple of options around here, I'll tell you after who they are. But, you know, trying to find equipment, where do you buy this kind of equipment? You know, you just eBay, and I found both of my mowers on KSL classifieds. I was a crazy freak man about checking KSL classifieds in the mower section every day, every 5 minutes, for like several years. I don't do it that much anymore, because I found the mower I like, and I really like it. But I got a screaming deal on that mower that I have, and I got an okay deal on the one that I was having Brett use, or let him borrow. But, so there's online auctions that pop up about every 3 months, or 2 or 3 months, but they're primarily on the East Coast in Georgia. So it becomes a little bit expensive to try to ship it all the way this far out to the West. So I would say just keep checking KSL over and over until you see one. I started out with McLean, and you know, it was a piece of crap. The bed knife was terrible. There was no, it wasn't even making contact. It was a terrible machine. It cut okay, and it looked good. But then once I got the good mower, then you know, McLean I threw out. I sold it for $50. It was a junk. So online auctions for sure. There is a guy in California that I do know that buys stuff surplus from the auctions, and he's a reseller. And so I can hook you up with him if you're for real interested. I don't want to give that guy's info to everybody because he'll just be bombarded with everybody's questions, and if he's not getting sales, he's going to be pissed at me. So yeah, you just got to keep looking. That slice seeder, I found that on KSL. You know, I found that on KSL. That thing cost $800. It was quite expensive for that thing. And I told my wife it was like, you know, it was lower. And she got it later, she was pissed. She's like, you said that was $300. I'm like, well, a little bit more. So do I spend a lot of money on my lawn? Yeah, a little bit. But I love it. It's my hobby. It's my passion. It's what I want to do. It's where I want to spend money. And I like it. So who cares? You know what I mean? Do I spend a lot more money on fertilizers and these humics that, you know, I probably put more nitrogen down than I should, you know? And so, you know, do I believe in humic acid? Absolutely. I've been putting humic acid, the stuff from IFA, I've been putting that stuff on my lawn for years before I even heard of the next products or any of the liquid stuff. And I knew that it was a good product, but the data, I don't care about the data. I just put it down because I trust the people that are in the know. So. Yeah.
As someone who's starting their own channel, new creator, what are some things, and I guess this is open up to all of you guys, what are
Even Jeremy. I feel like I was ostracized over here for a minute.
I just know you're sitting behind the camera.
Don't forget Jeremy. Yeah, you get a lot of love over there. His channel has it going, so if you can't see on my channel, I apologize. He is live streaming. You can't hear me because I'm behind the mic, so go ahead. Sorry.
Unostracized now. Hi guys, on Connor's
I don't even know if it's working or not. I mean,
I haven't seen the complaints like it was on mine. I was trying to filter your feed, and you have.
so you want to know about how to get going as a...
I just started 3 months ago. Of course, getting started is sometimes a slow roll. I feel like it's going really well right now, but I'm curious to know what you guys have learned that you wish you would have known when you started that you know now, things that really would help out for new creators to establish their channels.
I guess that I can go ahead and field that at first. At the beginning of the year, I really didn't expect, just like Connor said, I didn't expect any kind of love. I didn't expect any kind of results or anything from this. I actually started because I had started my yard last year. I put it in, I had done it all myself. I'm a DIY type of guy. If I can do it, I'm going to do it. I'm cheap. Let's just say it. Let's be honest. we'll spend it on what we see what we want to spend it on. And so that's what I decided I wanted to do. So then moving forward, I realized that people started watching my videos. So when I started watching and paying attention to it, one of the things as a creator, the thing that I really expressed is that you need to see what your motivation is in the lawn care community and kind of focus in and niche in on what you like and what you want to be known for. I got a lot of early kind of recognition because I found out about the next products. I grabbed the next products from the first shipments that came out. I threw the next products down on my lawn with Malort, and it was able to take off because
You guys tell me if this is working.
the next name behind it. I was able to have that because I focused in on keywords. Keywords is one of the biggest things when you're a creator on focusing on, because when people search for you, that's what they're going to find, is a keyword. And so if you learn how to keyword rank yourself, it goes a long way. It really like steps up the game of it. Then once you get a lot more subscribers and stuff, then it's more about what you're putting out there in front of them as far as like your content, your creativity, those types of things. It's good to have those at the beginning, but to get the to get the views and everything, you definitely want to be on the front side of the keywords, on the knowing what your audiences are looking for. That's kind of still where I'm at. I'm still in that niche because at 1,400 subscribers, love every one of them. I would give them all a shout out. I would have made my video a lot longer than I just put out. But on that fact, it's trying to niche in and find what they're looking for and have that residual views. It's called having a green view, something you're always going to grab kids off of. I have a couple of videos that are just slowly going, but over time they have 17,000 views. And it's one of those things that you just find out what the viewers are looking for, and you just niche in, and then you just move yourself in. Like Connor, he can start a live stream, and I'm back there watching it. I'm like, guys, I have 20 viewers watching it. Yes, exciting. And look, he starts it, and I swear as soon as he presses play, there's 35, and I look at it again, he's over 100. So it's that initial part that you just have to get past. And it's just that, it's kind of finding what your audience is looking for. And that's what I really see.
So I'd say really the hardest part with YouTube, I guess for me, was just kind of getting over that initial hump, like you said. Like I went from 0 to 1,000 subscribers. It took like 6 or 8 or 10 months, a long time. But you know, when the spring hit, that's when my subscribers kind of really took off. And I don't know why that was the case. I'm assuming it was because people had grass on the brain. But like Jeremy said, just, you know, the keywords are key. Try to figure out what people are searching for and make a video about that, you know. Do I make videos do I actively try to make videos to target certain topics? Not really. I just kind of am filming what I'm doing. But I guess the main thing that I could say is that just be yourself. Like, don't try to put on an act. Don't be scripted. Just be who you are. And in the beginning of some of my videos, I was camera shy. But after a while, I just said, screw that. I'm gonna go for it. And I'm just gonna open up and tear down that wall. And, you know, some people have said, you know, this guy's ridiculous, and maybe I am, but at the same time, I don't care. I'm just gonna be who I am. If you guys wanna watch me, then cool. If not, then... And at the same time, like, my lawn is unique. So I think that kind of helps a little bit with me because it's so unique. It's very unique and nobody's really doing it. There's a lot of people doing it, but nobody that's really kind of showing it. So I guess one thing that I can say as well is, you know, make the videos short and sweet. Make them like short. If you see some of my early videos, they were all short. 2 and 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I did not make them over 5 minutes because it's just, and people complain, make longer videos, but I wanted people to click and then look for more, and then click again and then be hungry for more.
You know?
keep cooking and being hungry for more.
Yeah, you've got to break things into parts for sure. I wanted to talk a lot in the beginning because I'm a one-take person. I set a thing up and I just talk. And I don't, the editing part and all that stuff, like what these guys do, I don't have the patience for it. Like, give me a camera, I don't know how to drive. Hey, I'm gonna talk about this. Because for me, my audience are my customers. I'm not like searching for, a wider spread. I'm just trying to give the information to the people who are on it right now who want, to know like, oh, I want to know, why is this working? Why is this happening? Like, okay, so here's what's happening. So what's interesting is these guys open themselves up to a hell of a lot of criticism, which I don't, because I'm not like, Jared hit with a video this year on crabgrass because he tagged it right, it was information about how to do this, this, and this. What's that up to?
650,000.
Huge amount of views. That one just went nuts, and his audience just went boom. Oh, look at this guy, he's talking about the stuff. It was problem solving, right? And you keyed in on it, and you went straight out. It was a long video, too. It was like 17 minutes or something. Right?
I think that one was around 12.
12.
Yeah.
Okay, so, it was a good length of time, but it had all these cuts, and he was showing all this stuff, and look, he took a lot of time on it. It was really good. And, I just don't have that. He's probably had, I don't know how many negative people. So you have to open yourself up to the criticism too.
You do.
Yeah, and
Yes, you do.
Yeah, and it's okay, right? Like you have to take that. You have to have that piece because you'll show up in a feed on somebody else's thing and they're like, well, I don't like this guy at all. He's got a weird nose. I'm like, man, I don't like your nose. And whatever it is. And yeah, he's heard that. So kind of that's it. Be yourself. Don't try to be any of the other guys that are on this. You don't need to like copy content. If you want to work in your yard and work in your yard, it's like, here's what it's going to be. If it's a car or whatever, if you just want to be a guy who has a camera in front of him, you can do that. You'll find an audience or you won't. It's not going to ruin your life. You didn't have one before. So, don't let it ever bother you. Just, if you want to be a creator and you want to create, then create. It's yours. It's nobody else's. Forget about it.
Just be yourself.
Yeah. So, simple.
I love the trolls.
Yeah, why not?
Every time I get a thumbs down, I'm like, yes, that video sucked. Yeah. In all fairness, the trolls, the haters are always going to show up.
Yeah.
That's what kind of drives me. I get excited because, I'm a pretty likable guy. I've only met like a handful of people that I can't get to be friends with me. But what I found is you get put into certain stigmas. And it doesn't matter, don't just sleep over that. Yeah. I can't go and like Connor here, I'm just jealous.
Yeah, you can. You just won't do it.
I hit the thumbs up twice on the mustache. Yeah. Not the cut. That was a thumbs down. I'm sorry.
So you're the one that thumbs me down?
Twice.
You didn't even know it was a thumbs down.
You're only getting one thumbs down out of this coming back. Once it's back, I'll be like thumbs up.
But yeah, I think it's pretty cool, again, everybody kind of has their own info to offer, and so much is just opinion. And that's what kind of cracks me up about this whole, like, the grass YouTube community is most of the guys are just like, man, here's what I do, and, I don't really care. I don't care. That's what I'm going to do. And that's fine. And that's why people are like, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't. It's like, sure I can. I just did.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what I'm all about, is yes, I can do it. Watch me.
Yeah.
Watch me do it. You tell me no, I'm going to do it even more.
Connor, that's why I subscribed to your channel, actually.
Yeah, it's just, I want to prove people wrong.
Well, I can't tell you how many times somebody has told me that you can't do that, and then I read the book, and it's like, of course you need to do that.
Yeah, well, okay, further, every single person who's working in the yard, you are a grown-ass person, make your own decisions. Just do it. You know what? If you screw it up, it's your own damn fault. It is. Own that. Like, yep, I shouldn't have done that. I didn't, but I'm still not listening to that one guy. Like, whatever it is, you just do it. If you're going to experiment in your own property, that's one thing. If you're doing it with hundreds or thousands of lawn care customers, that's dangerous.
Yes.
That's how I started.
Absolutely.
That's what I did. Every customer of mine was an experiment. And I grew like crazy. because it worked. Imagine if it didn't. It would have been terrible. But when I was spraying lawns, every single person, I was just like, I'm gonna put this in here. You know, that looked great. What did I do? Oh, that's right. Now I need to start writing things down. Now I'm gonna do that again. Just duplicate. And the beauty was, since I had my own spray service, I had a massive ability to replicate everything I was doing, which is what took it from a small spray service to a larger one, and then spreading out to the rest of the country. And that was it. But super dangerous, you know. And same thing. Everybody told me, like, you can't do that. It's not gonna work. You can't do that. No, I guess. We'll find out. We'll find out. Research.
That's funny, because I went through a similar path. I was a little bit opposite though. I do all the testing on my own lawn at home. And I got to the point where some of the customers were figuring out where I lived. And they looked at my lawn and half of it was dead and half of it was like having a leaf spot and fungus. And I started laughing because I had a customer call and cancel, and I was like, what's going on? They said, well, your lawn looks like garbage. And I was like, well, I have no time. Okay, can you do me a favor and come back in 5 weeks? Give it 5 weeks. They said, okay, I'll do that. So I broke out the thatch rake. I got all the mulch out, or the power. I got the thatch rake, the power rake, and I got all the mulch out that I was testing to see if it was really a weed barrier. Because everyone was like, oh, you go to mulch, you go to mulch, you go to mulch. And I said, well, that's great. Yeah. Okay. That was the one that I took you to, and they're like, what's wrong with your lawn? I'm like, don't worry about it. That's how I came up with the concept of what's wrong with my lawn, you know? And so I pull it all out, and I was laughing because there was almost 900 gallons of dead grass that I pulled out.
I thought that was just your front yard.
That was my front.
Yeah, that was the front, yeah.
3,000 square feet.
That's just like,
3,000 square feet. I had to ride on the mower. And I really need to post the picture so you guys can see it. And it was tired. And it looked so bad after I got done. And then my neighbors were like, oh my gosh, what did you do? I'm like, don't worry about it. Just give it some time. And then all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, it's 50% better, 6 weeks better home and garden.
and that was the summer. That was midsummer.
Yeah, John saw
Like
the whole
July.
process, because
Yeah.
he couldn't believe it. And I
was so
said, the nutrients aren't getting.
Yeah.
And everybody keeps saying, hey, you gotta mulch, you gotta mulch, you gotta mulch. Well, there's a difference between mulching at 1 to 2 inches versus 1/4 of an inch when you get it really down that low. You know, when you get that mulch really fine, you can't see it coming out behind the mower. Yeah, you're putting nitrogen back in, you're putting all that source back in. It's really, really good for the lawn. But yeah, 6 week better home and garden. Try it.
Yeah,
There it is.
it's true. Yeah, that's
Good
that
stuff.
Was, it was a mess. That was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I got a question about, since I'm actually trying to do what Connor's doing with his yard, and the one thing you kind of caught me off guard was how much you were watering your yard. And since I'm out here in West Jordan, I guess you use culinary water, and I was kind of like, holy crap, if I
have a well.
You have a well, and so I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do, in my place, and this last year I was paying probably $200 to $300 in my water bill.
Wow.
And so I'm actually developing my own.
How many square feet?
Altogether 7,000.
That's a little higher. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
And how low can you cut them?
Well, right now I'm only about 1.5 inches.
Yeah. There's way, but you want to go lower.
Well, yeah, I want to go low. So what I'm doing, so I'm an engineer by profession, and I've actually got into I do a lot of controls and robotics, the company I work for. So I've developed a system where everything, my control boxes, everything is wireless. So I don't have no wires running my control boxes. I use the Ranchio backplane. And I use them there, and I tie into a PLC, but I'm actually wireless controlling to all my valves.
Okay.
And I can actually control each one independently. And so, everybody said, well, how do you get everything going? I have battery operated units in each box that controls the valve wirelessly. So I'm gonna get a better, more efficient, I can control the watering pattern. And maybe in the summer, I know that John Connor was, having this great yard, and we're getting pounded with heat, and I said, hey, and I heard you say, hey, cool it down. In the summer when it gets really hot, like around 3 o'clock, 5 minutes, spray it down, get the temperature to drop so it doesn't get so
I
stressed.
think that was Jeremy.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
But, so I tried to, so my concern was that since the governor came out with this whole thing about the watering, and I want to be green, and they said, well, I want to be, you know, well, look at your yard, it's so green, everybody else is struggling, you're not doing your job. I got hell for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I got told, I said, listen, wait a minute here. I'm putting a lot more time into it, and people are coming after me. My neighbors say, you know, we're struggling with water here, and your yard is green, you should be yellow. And I'm going, no, I'm paying for it, you know, and so there's this big argument I have with my neighbors, so.
Can I science that a little bit? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that all right for a second? Okay. So, couple things. You can have short grass, but that's not this. Everybody knows that. He knows that. He likes that. Not everybody likes that. All right. Golf courses require a ton of water to maintain that mowing. Ton of water. And you'll look on greens on hot days, they will run the sprinklers for a second. Sometimes on hot days to eliminate, like hot spots. That's basically what they're doing. So they're trying to keep everything cool. Now it's sand, that's going to heat up more. But their roots, you know, in bent grass and things like that, go down 3 feet. It's going to heat up more. In sand, yes. Sand is going to heat up more at that height, absolutely. More than you're going to get off a topsoil, like a nurtured topsoil. Because it's so much more heat, like conductive. Okay, like walking across a beach, when the sun's on it versus walking across a field that's just bare soil, you can get across one easier than the other. Okay, so it's getting more heat, so you have to get more water. If you focus on the building up of your soil structure, the soil humus, you know, really driving the roots, soil humus is what's going to control the temperature in your soil. The more organic matter you have in there, the cooler it will stay. Okay, so if we can increase organic matter from, if you've done a soil test, yeah, that's fine. But if you test what your organic matter is on a nice clean soil test, and we start to work to improve that organic matter, you will keep the grass cooler, your disease resistance will go way up, your watering needs will go way down because you now have a sponge to work with, which is what you're going for. So, you know, in clay is going to hold more water longer, but it's also going to take longer to get in there. So you have to slowly build that up. It's a wet sponge, dry sponge. If you have a slightly moist sponge, you put it under a faucet, water will flow into it. If it's dry and you set it in a faucet, it will beat off. Okay? So you have to think about your lawn in the same way. And it's all controlled by that clay content and organic matter content. Otherwise, you're getting higher flow through. So what side of the mountain?
West Jordan.
West Jordan. Wow, I mean,
Copper Hills High School.
yeah, so depending on, I mean, it could be very tight, right? Like we get in some places around here where we've got sand. I mean, it's sandy, there is sand. Like it's sand, it's sandy, you know, you can find that over there. It's like there's places where you start to get into different soil structures and you just need to, you know, like, you get your soil probe out and see what you got in there. You know, and you can, you want to see where your moisture is. You can sink the thing down into the ground and you can feel moisture. If it starts to get crumbly down as you're getting in there, there's not enough water. It's staying too much on the surface. You need to fill the pan, right? And as you do that, and the water starts to go back down like this, the roots will chase it. The more roots that we can get dying back down here, the higher the organic matter, and all of your microbial life will digest that up and create more soil humus. And it's not that difficult, but if you're going to mow grass really short and stress it out, you're going to have to take times where you're not pounding it with water so that you can drive the roots down. Because every time you cut it, you know, that grass is going to be under stress. So once you train it, it gets easier, but he's still going to use a ton of water. More than if a guy just let it, you know, grow up and shade itself. So it just depends on what you're going for. I mean, I've never gone over my allotment of whatever my key on my water is, because I don't start until it's like really turning brown, and that could be June. You know, I don't even start watering, and then I just water it heavy a few times a week, and then I can go further apart and just hold it. But it depends what you're up to. But I'm going to cut mine all down. You know, I'll just do it just to see what he's doing, and then run a different program on it. But then I do everything completely opposite of normal also. No nitrogen, no nothing. I mean, I'm just letting that stuff cycle. But the roots are like 2 feet long now. They just go down. They're driving through the rocks. So, yeah.
How do you get 2 feet?
It's not that hard.
Come to West
It's not that All you have to do is throw out every pattern you've ever thought was the way you were supposed to. You just throw out patterns. If you're watering every other day for 15 minutes, they'll never get down.
Yeah.
You will train your grass just like a puppy. It'll show up expecting food and expecting water at the same time. And when you change that and it stresses out, it goes into survival mode. Well, you want to try to, it's survival of the fittest. So if you're going to really, you've got to stress it out. Stress it out, lower its needs, and then when you give it the right food, it doesn't take as much. So my soil at my house now is a 5.1 organic matter. That's really good. Great content, huge mineralization, and I'm hardly feeding it. But now I could go hit it with nitrogen. If I wanted to throw a pound at it, that I could feed that for 2 years. Because there's so much in it. And I still have to mow it like, a regular guy, just let it get taller and then do it less often because it's not gonna grow but if I wanted to maintain this mow height, I'm gonna be out there twice a week because I don't want it to ever get too tall. That's just the way it is. And if you love your lawn and you wanna do it, then do it.
That's how John got so tall.
Yeah, I do. I stress myself out. These questions.
He's sipping on 1801.
All the time. I've had my fair share. Yes.
John, the last couple times that I've used the microgreen,
Yes.
I've found that it's not working really well with the dial and spray.
Too thick.
It is really thick.
Yeah.
And I've taken the time to dilute it and really agitate it so that the water is really getting in there and doing it really well. I went and was trying to even spray it yesterday and I had nothing.
Is it pouring from your bottle?
Yeah, it comes out the side a little bit.
No, but it pours.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem thick or anything.
No, it's definitely soupy.
It's okay. So it's
not
yeah.
thick
It's,
soupy, but it's
yeah.
soupy.
How long have you had it?
I got it 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay. So sometimes, depending in heat and just sitting, it will start to kind of thicken up, especially the humic fraction. It polymerizes a little bit and it kind of gets thicker. That stuff continues to age and get better. Make sure you clean that thing out really well. That's usually the problem. The stuff gets stuck somewhere in the straw, like any particles or anything like that. Make sure you get rid of the filter that's on there. Don't use that. And then just, you can take that bottle and mix it 50-50 with water too, in the bottle and pour it out. But there is a lot of material in that product. It's pretty robust. And yeah, make sure you seal the lid tight too, because it will actually evaporate some of the moisture. That's about really all you can do with it. So
Is there a clothing spray that you recommend for?
I think that freaking Miracle-Gro one is it works the best. I don't like the Chameleon. I thought I would. I think that thing's garbage. Honestly, the cheapest one you can find is usually the best. Those Gilmore ones that have the steel sprayer on them that are from the 70s, those things are awesome. It'll pull anything up. But we had about, 1,000 Posen sprayers in my plant. I bought them. Somebody was clearancing them out of some supply company, so I bought a ton of them. They have no dial. They just have an on-off. Awesome. No clogging, no ever issues with those things. But the problem was they were 26.5 ounces. It was a random number. And and that's why they were 70 cents a piece. Nobody's gonna buy these. It's not what's a quart? Well, this plus what's on the floor. So I still have those things, but just crack that thing and it sprays and set it to wide open. And that's what I like to do is I just all the way crank that thing up and just spray out. Just go. Run. Get a little exercise. Run. It's so fast. But yeah, that's all you can do. Open it up all the way.
Just careful of your storage temperature too. So
Yeah, I keep it in the garage.
yeah,
So
that's a bad idea during the summer.
It can get hot.
So the cooler you can keep it, the less the enzymes kind of break down and kind of hold together.
yeah. So more inside room temperature.
Yeah, we went through that with some of our facilities where we store the good stuff for the lawns, and we had to get this massive mixer, and every morning we were having to go through it because it was getting too warm and everything was pulling together.
I
I've got a question from Paul, from Paul's Prime Cuts.
Paul Outlaw, how you doing, buddy?
For Connor, he says, Connor, I would like to start real mowing my facial hair. How should I get started?
How soon?
How should he do it?
You should offer to go over there and just take care of that for him.
Just go for it. Hope for the best.
There you go. Lay down.
Yeah, throw her down.
Yeah, anybody else have? Yes.
So I live out in the Kaysville, I've got like high clay.
Uh-huh.
Is just pounding it with aerate, I don't know, like 9 ounces to the 1,000, is that
That's gonna
solve
help.
some of that issue? Or?
What I would recommend, if you do get a chance, I think that you should test to see what you have up there as far as saturations for calcium and magnesium, to be good with those CDCs, because that may be a case where, depending on pH values, we might want to apply something else, a calcium product of some kind. So it all just depends on what your overall pH is and where saturations are, because that'll open up your soil significantly. And if there's one thing I could tell everybody, never let your soil get dry. Never. Never, never, never. Everything gets lost. It's the microbial activity ceases, your water barrier is gone, that means nutrients can't transfer through roots. That is the worst thing. Okay, so make sure you maintain some level of a moist lawn. And especially if you're dealing with heavy clay, like I said, it takes a lot more for stuff to get in there, but once it's there, it is there. So you can really do well with clay and just let it work its magic. But I would test that first. Traditionally, even in the clay soils here, we're gonna be higher pH. Gypsum is gonna be the answer in most cases. And if your calcium's already high and it's something else that we might not be looking at, we might be looking at pure sulfur and using those sulfated materials. But the aerate, what's cool about that is it's high potassium level, and how caustic it is, it will break out and release more calcium up into the plant, which affects the pH, and that's why a lot of people see bigger green up, because more nutrients are able to flood through and get into the plant. So, yeah, but it'd be good to know. I mean, I've been answering soil test questions now for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know, I've probably done 1,000 of them now. Just going through people's stuff and saying, this is how you need to do it, this is how many pounds of this, and go forth.
Okay.
So, send it over. Yeah.
You guys don't mind, I'd like to open it up for anybody that's watching on the creator channels. I know that Connor has quite a few that are subscribed on here. Mine's having problems, so I'm down to only a few that are left. Brett, I don't know, Matt, how many you were having?
I have 8.
Sweet. So those of you that are on the creator channels, if you would field the questions from anybody, let us know who you're reading. I don't know if anybody's still watching. A couple of you were watching. Anybody watching anybody still? Connor, mine, probably not mine, Connor's. If you guys want to toss some questions out to us so that we can field those, and then we'll just, after that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah.
So that we can just go ahead and chat and talk amongst us and finish up our bagels and stuff. So,
By the way, everybody is taking these home, so there'll be bags out there, so you guys have to take this.
So somebody wants to know about dog pee spot prevention, not recommendation.
Get rid of the dog. Yes.
Your face said no. Your face said no.
Any advice on centipede?
Don't do anything to it. If you stare at it too hard, it'll die. Honestly, what we've seen, especially in Georgia, where there's a lot of centipede, the lower the nutrient program and the more soil amendments, because most of the time it's growing on clay where it is growing, you don't have to give it much. It doesn't require much nitrogen. Most of the guys that I've had running like 3/4 pound a year, because they don't want to push it. So keep it low as far as your inputs, and feed the humates, feed the biostins, use iron in the summer, keep it nice and green. That's all. Centipede. Cakewalk. We should all be so lucky.
Any other questions for you guys, from you guys?
I have a question for you, actually.
Yeah, what's up?
Because you're always away. So, I think it was a couple of years ago, I had mice that were coming in underneath the roots, because they were sweetened. So one of the things that they said was to put down, NPK, that it turns bitter so they go away. you were kind of really new to Pest and
Yeah.
lawn. So when you start to use these nutrients like yes and such, do you also see that there's a kind of an influx of critters because they're attracted to the sweet grass now, or is it really not much of an issue at all in this area?
Man, I mean, to be honest with you, it sounds a little bit like a misnomer to me. Like people are grasping at straws. Voles are in a couple different categories. You get the voles in Colorado that primarily go after the roots of trees. They don't like the taste of the trees here, so they go after the grass. So about the only thing that I've really been able to do is amend the taste of the grass by using castor oil, a little bit of garlic and peppers, and make like a vampire mixture and put that out, right? But even that, I mean, it takes months of applying this stuff to have that happen. So, I mean, there's a yes or no. I mean, voles are gonna go after what they go after, and yeah, I mean, if you amend the soil and get the roots pulling down exactly how they like to taste it, they're gonna do it, but mice are also colony pests, so they're going to congregate. And so you get these voles that really just pull together, and it ends up becoming a bigger problem. So trapping and baiting, in my experience, is the best thing that you can do. And once you get through that, they're not around, they go to the next house.
So the inclusion of making your root system better and grass and greener, it's all super pretty, doesn't also make the wolves want to move it.
I have never seen that correlation.
Good.
That's a great question.
I actually think, from some of the stuff I've seen in the past, looking at influx of pests, there's usually sort of common elements. And most of the time, diseases come from overfeeding, because you're stressing out the plant so much that you kind of get a warped cell. And grass stretches a lot, so there's a lot more moisture. And if you have tons of nitrogen going down, you also have a higher protein content in some cases, especially in grass. I've done a lot with like food plots, alfalfa, soybean, and growing for meal and all kinds of different stuff because we wanted to increase the nutritional value. And there are certain steps to do that. Grass actually does have a similar effect. And one thing that I noticed on my house is I get deer jumping my fence to come eat my grass, which I don't see in anybody else's yard. Like they're either on native stuff or they're laying in my backyard. So great picture of fox laying up there just chilling, like great. So there is a correlation on the feed side, but like Jared said, a lot of the time you're just you're in an area where constant, like housing development is just encroaching on the habitat, and so they're just kind of working their way back into, food, easy food. And it really wouldn't matter if the grass is in good shape or bad, but it tends to be that I think if you leave stuff more natural, you get more like grass eating pests, right? When you don't do anything, it's just stressed out. Because that's like a signal, to everybody that grass is weak and stuff can come and start eating it. So,
Matt wants you to talk about the amino acids.
Yeah, he does, I think. Yeah, right. No, he's teasing right now.
Oh, he's teasing.
He is, yeah, he's being jocular. There is some stuff floating about amino acids out that's starting to kind of, I don't know if I would even say it's working mainstream, but just there's a lot of misinformation going on right now, and plants produce their own amino acids as part of the plant life. It's part of what we're all made of. It's just, this is just something that happens. We haven't really seen enough of a correlation between adding amino acids and what plants can do, because plants regulate themselves. So, it just kind of goes and breaks down and becomes soil food. And I guess any soil food you give is fine, as long as it's, not over the top. But I know he was just messing right there. So there you go.
He also wants to know about Haiti.
Yeah. Yes.
Every single time. Every single time.
So how many times a year do you do soil samples? As
Do I?
far as-
Never.
What?
Never. Personally, I never do it. I just did one to show, because I treat everything as an entire system all the time. So if somebody were to just ask, and say, you know, what's a roadmap? I want to have, I can pull up 1,000 soil tests and just say, okay, so here's all of these different things. You know, and I'm only looking at these couple of items so that I can give you a roadmap in. Because for the common homeowner doing your own thing, you just want to grab something and put it out, right? So a lot of the stuff I share goes well beyond that, and the things you, wow, I didn't know you need to consider. But as long as you're feeding the soil, okay, and that's your primary concern, I'm going to feed the soil. If I feed the soil, the grass is going to do epic, okay? And so you have to have all of these components. It's not just a bone broth. I mean, you're talking about the whole stew. So we want to create an entire meal for the soil, and then there's easy solubles that the plants will take up as a part of that program. So my whole program is there is so much to go to the soil, and a little bit that is actually targeted to the plant to give a person an initial response. The rest of it is just coming from the soil formation. So I don't soil test. I'm going to again in the spring because I'm going along with this thing so that people can see, like, here's what's happening on my own ground as I go through. But unless it was agriculture, that I would test all the time. Once your lawn's on cruise control, why would you keep doing it? That's just throwing money, you know, why not? I have soil test, I'm gonna put it over here on this fire. Next.
I get really bad dry spots. I do side lawn care as well. I also have a client that has the dead center of her lawn is, I can stick in the edge of her lawn, I can stick a screwdriver that far. In the center, I can stick it that far. And it happens right about midsummer.
Yeah, our spring recovery sucks. Yeah, and that's really all there is to it. In that case, you know, how long has the house been?
What?
Long time? Is it an older property? Is it newer? What's
I've only had it about 6 months.
but the home itself, you know, is it older? Is it newer?
Newer.
Okay. One thing that has happened a long time ago in the original housing booms, it kind of stopped. When irrigation was put in, it was a four corners irrigation. And little attention was paid to true head-to-head coverage. Okay, so oftentimes you get a lawn that's a square and you just have, there's just stuff around the perimeter and there's nothing that runs in the line. So you're not getting good cross pattern and everything. So even though the entire thing is getting, you know, water like this, it's just getting the tips and no real crossing. So it gets half the water the rest of the lawn. That's really all it is. So most of the time it's simply a coverage issue. And that's it. And if, you know, they're maladjusted, if there's a sprinkler dead center of that thing, you know, then you're still, something's not reaching it, and that thing is overspraying. There's ways to look at it. I'll tell you what, one of the biggest problems in irrigation anymore with how many houses are being built is if you look at something during the day, the pressure on that thing is totally different when everybody else is running theirs. And you don't get the same coverage. It might look great when you're the only sprinkler running, but when there's 40 of them on the street at the same time, it's a totally different story. So, that's all.
That's a great point.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, on a well, you're never going to see this, but in neighborhoods, if you're part of culinary water, it happens all the time. When I was in Reno, there were so many houses being built up this hill. The older ones that were at the bottom used to have this pressure, blowing out valves all the time. There was just huge amounts of pressure, and it just kept getting lower and lower and lower. They're wondering why the lawns were dying. And it's just because there kept being more water on the system, just taxing more. So, yeah, it's all. Yeah.
All right, I had a question from a viewer. It said, can you ask Genji to explain his results with the Lebanon turf, roots, mycorrhiza, and how he liked it?
Whew. Yeah. Big question. So it's interesting because we're talking about dry spots in lawn, right? So what happens, I mean, I can ask everybody here, what happens when you get that ring of dryness? Anybody tell me? Right, everything's looking dead. And the one thing about it is you have to pump life back into it. And what's the hardest thing to do when things dry out? Is to get the life back into it, because you deal with aquaphobic situations where the water just repels. It just sits on top and it kind of comes right off. And so right now, what I've done is I've taken about 3 or 4 different products that you guys have seen online, and the Lebanon turf mycorrhiza is one of them. Mycorrhiza is kind of one of those things where you can do an academic article on it for, like, you know, books and books and books. they're trying to save the world with mycorrhiza right now, because what it does is I kind of explain it like the Thor's hammer and the rainbow bridge, right? The mycorrhiza takes nutrients and it pushes it through the roots, so it stimulates the roots to get wider, bigger as well. It creates this subway tunnel. So it also interacts with the micronutrients as well, and helps get better interaction with it. So I usually carry a backpack sprayer with a little bit of calcium humic in it. I'm sure you guys have seen the Essentials 101. Sometimes I'll carry the RJS in the area as well. And just whatever I have access to at the moment. But what I notice is once I apply the mycorrhiza into the tissue, it ended up growing and coming back twice as fast. Because once you have mycorrhiza there, it doesn't go away until the whole system dries out. It's a beneficial fungus. And so again, the worst thing to do is to let it dry out. But I've had extremely good success with this. I do, oh gosh, during the hot months, probably between 6 and 12 lawn assessments a day. 90% of them are low in micronutrients and are also anemic, and they're aquaphobic. And so once I get that in there, my response rate's been about 90% on that Lebanon turf product. It's been a good product. They're probably asking me, correct me if I'm wrong, asking for a rebuttal on this, but I want to make sure I'm answering the question. It's an expense though. This one little bag of mycorrhiza is $35. And I'm using about, I think it's a teaspoon and a half to a tablespoon per 1,000 square feet. And it has to be watered in pretty heavily because the mycorrhiza has to get down 2 inches to where the root development is happening. But hey, did I answer everybody's question, or did I confuse some of you, or make sense? John, anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I think it's pretty spot on. I did testing with mycorrhiza. Dr. Mirandis had mycorrhiza applications, had some pretty cool products. 10 years ago, they had some gel encapsulated mycorrhiza we were testing with some of our starter products in agriculture, and it did work really well. Personally, I don't necessarily recommend that to a lot of people, only not because it doesn't work, but same thing. You have to get it down in the ground or it doesn't make a difference. So I love it at seeding. I love it if you're doing soil prep. I think that's a great way to go. For the standard lawn care operator, or person, I don't think you really need it. If your lawn's growing actively and you are maintaining moisture and you're not over salting the load, you'll never have a problem with your mycorrhiza being out of whack. There's enough communication.
That's a great point. One thing I want to add to it, our area specifically is low in mycorrhiza.
It's low where we're in that. And that's the thing. That's where everything is functioning. So we have to build that up. We get low on it.
So when you get to lower elevations, it's not really necessary to plug in a ton of mycorrhiza. It's already there, it's already functioning. You just really just need more water and micronutrients to help balance out the fungus.
Yeah.
Beneficial. That's a great question.
I got one more. This guy Scott asks, what is the best fertilizer to add with Milo and next products? Or is that enough?
Good. Want me to do that?
Whoever. I know your philosophy.
You're probably the person to add.
Anyone else?
I have a hard time with that question because everybody's on the search for the perfect fertilizer. There's a good balanced fertilizer, but there's nothing that's perfect. And sometimes we're looking for that word perfect. I need the perfect setup. Well, March is going to be different than April. April's different than May, and so on and so forth, and it cascades. Every square inch of your lawn is going to have different microbial activity and different response rates, and you could literally put something different every square inch and then pull it all together, but it's literally impossible. So to find a good balanced fertilizer, it's good, and that's where John comes in. You got the science to back it up.
Well, I think here's what I would caution everybody who is using a lot of Malloy. And it's fine, it's great, you can put it out. There's so much phosphorus in that product And if you're putting it out at high rates, you're gonna tie up your soil. You're just gonna do it. If you use too much of one thing over and over and over again, something's bound to suffer. So try not to get stuck on one thing. And I've seen more, try to balance and change. If you're using a lot of Lorgonite, and again, I've been looking at all these soil tests that people have been sending me who've been on a heavy Lorgonite program for a long time. I'm actually just recommending they go out with ammonium sulfate at like low rates, like quarter to half a pound, to balance out all of this other stuff now that's in there. Because, you know, with biosolids, with manures, with anything that's going to be like a nitrate compound that's you know, carbon formed that way, it takes a long time for it to break out. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in there. So the high rates that we're putting out, you know, if you're putting down a full pound per 1,000 of that material, you know, nitrogen, man, that's a lot. That is a lot, like 600 pounds, I think, an acre to get.
Yeah, but it also allows Peter to play ball too. I mean, you're killing your zinc and your iron.
There's all of these other things that pull, and so you have to watch it. And manure pulls, it pulls miners like crazy. So you can start seeing deficiencies across the board, and just that load of phos is going to end up being a real problem. You know, those parts, stuff in your soil, and
But it can take a couple of years. Like, you might have the best results forever, and then all of a sudden, mom's giving you the bird finger, and you can't figure out why.
yeah, you know, I wrote an article called Very or something like that on my blog, and that's all what it was about. It's like switching things, moving around, and never getting stuck on one particular item. Because the longer you stay on one, the less you're going to load. And eventually, you run into trouble. So balancing it. So again, no perfect, but just watch the volumes of stuff you're putting out.
I can kind of attest to that. As I started, I was on Milorganite last year. Coming into this year, I had the Milorganite, and then we went into that shortage that everybody knows about. And I couldn't find it. I finally found it, and a couple of times I just like, guys, I don't have Milorganite. It was sitting in my garage, and I'm throwing it out there. I'm like, hey, should I keep applying it? And of course, Connor comes in and says, yeah, I never stop applying. But honestly, well, where was I going to go with that one? Yeah. And so I honestly saw the benefits of like using less and less because my lawn wasn't needing it. And coming into the end of the season, I probably haven't used Milorganite in, I don't know, probably been about 2.5 months now. And I still saw the benefits. I know. My name's Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy.
There's nothing wrong with that product. I want to make it perfectly clear. When I'm talking about this stuff, I manufacture products. I can sit here and just talk about my stuff. I don't like to do that. There's a broad spectrum of things you can apply, and you should mix it up, and you should try new things. You see what works best on your lawn. There's no reason not to. Okay, and I'll just tell you, watch it if you're putting a lot of one thing. That's all I'm going to say. So just kind of mix it up. Make sure you're getting the good balance, and the mindset is, I'm going to build this soil up, and the more you get, the less you have to put out. It's like, the more you care for it at the beginning, the less you have to do later. You're just investing into that bank, and it pays dividends.
I want to confuse everybody, but every December I start calling everybody and say, okay, what's your projections for the next season? How much snow are we getting? How much rain are we getting? What's coming down from the sky? What elements are we going to need to counterbalance? And every year, as a company, we switch things up. It's not a ton, but we do have to switch it up. We have to play a little bit of a game of pushing.
Yeah, that's true, absolutely.
But there's a huge environmental issue, and Mother Nature's going to do what she has been doing for a very, very long time. It's interesting.
And this year, just here in our area, we had a fall, spring, and February. It got really warm, grass turned green, it started pulling, soil life came up, you know, it started, and there was already a tax on the system immediately. So we were low on snow, we didn't have the temperatures that we would normally have, so soil life stayed active longer, which meant that whatever was put out was getting used, which meant when you started the season, you started with a deficit. And so, based on those things, that's how, you know, I would rewrite a program and say, here's how you need to start, because we got to fill that bank right back up, and then we can get up.
Yeah, we were using macros in March.
Yeah, I believe it. We got
There's no other way to do it. So normally you come out with a pound of nitrogen, and
potassium, kind of wake it up, and some humic, and you just call it good. But I mean, this last year, I was worried. I mean, we were getting 50-degree temperatures in the middle of January. Yeah, it was bad. And so yeah, we started putting down 2 times the microbes and the micronutrients and minors in March. And it was a good gamble. I mean, our lawns look real good this year.
Yeah, I would definitely attest to, I mean, I don't really know the science behind this stuff, but changing the fertilizer all the time.
Yeah.
That is key. If you stay on one thing, just like they said, you're just gonna get stuck in that one groove. I'm always changing my fertilizers all the time. I've got lots of different bags of stuff for free. They're like, oh, you know, this is crap. I'm like, I'll take it, you know? And then just whatever it is, I'm putting it down. Sometimes it's straight urea. Sometimes it's a slow release. I just barely put down that prodiamine that was like, because somebody gave it to me. And I have no idea what the formula was, but I'm always changing it. And sometimes I'll put down a 1616. Sometimes I'll put down, you know, ammonium sulfate. Sometimes I'll put down whatever. So like just, you don't want to get stuck in that groove of putting the same bag of stuff down every single time, no matter what. If it's malorganite, if it's this, it's that. I use malorganite. You know, it's kind of hard to find around where we live. It doesn't really exist at Home Depot, but I don't hardly ever use it. I mean, I'll use it here and there, but you know, for my lawn, it's expensive to use because you have to put a lot down, and you know, we can't really find it. And when we do find it, it's like $15 a bag. So you just have to diversity, lots of different products. You know, you got I put the granular humic down for my FA. I'm putting John's products down. I'm putting, you know, my urea down. I'm putting my 1616 down. I'm putting something down, you know, whether it's one thing or another. I'm putting something down at least once a month, I would say. So always putting the products down for me. And maybe that's not the best philosophy. Maybe I'm throwing money down the tubes.
Yep.
But
And into Utah Lake.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't. You know, maybe my stuff is. Maybe I am losing money, but I don't. You know, the results show. The results are there.
Keep that in mind, right? Like, if we talk on the phone about this, and I'll just keep saying it, you want your lawn to look like a golf course, you're going to have to treat it like a superintendent. That's all there is to it. You're going to need to be on it every day, every morning.
Yeah, looking at it every day.
You have to, and so if you're committed to that, then go for it. If you're not, don't even start.
Yeah, I am looking at my lawn every day. I'm out there walking on it, touching it, feeling it, looking at it, hugging it. You know, it's only like 4 years old.
That's a baby still.
So I love it.
As a teenager, you're like,
So yeah, you know, I know when there's problem areas quickly because I'm constantly looking at it. Do I know how much water I'm actually putting down? No, I have never really measured it. I put the water down when it looks dry.
That's it.
No, but this is perfect though.
Yeah.
You let the lawn tell
Yeah.
you stories.
Yes. And
I don't. I literally water it when it's starting to look dry.
that's it. That's what you're supposed to do. Just wait until it starts to go.
Yeah. That's kind of how I came to where I am, right? I've
I
done
don't know yet.
thousands and thousands of these lawn assessments. And the patterns that I'm noticing, you get leaf spot, you get melting out, it's a byproduct of them overwatering too much of something else. And like phosphorus. And so drawing these things back makes a big difference. But the lawns will tell you what it needs. You just have to hit the books and figure out, okay, it's got red threads, it's screwed that night. So, it shouldn't shoot.
You guys can just, if you just look, you just look, you'd be like, okay, yeah, I can use this.
Look at my channel first.
Yeah, look at But it is true, you know, it'll tell a story, grass will tell a story. If you say in your mind, it looks dry, yeah, it probably is. Probably so.
There's a question for you, John. It says, once you have spent years building up the soil to a healthy balance, is it possible to stop all feeding if you always mulch and maybe just fall leaves and compost?
That is a great question, and yes. you can do that. There is such a thing as a sustainable fertility program where you're not really adding things into it, but there is a lot of environmental things that go into that. So again, you're back to proper watering. If you have weird off-seasons or stuff that's decomposing properly, sometimes you need a little nitrogen to help kickstart the microbes just to get them chewing things up. So you can get very minimal on your program once you get the organic matter built up. You'll never mow as much, and you'll never have an artificial green. So I want to make sure that people understand that grass has a color on its own. What we see on lawns is a few shades darker than that because of how much we feed it. There's a natural color and then there's a fertilized color. So two very different things. If it's thick and it's weed-free and you've got everything working properly, then it's up to you on how you want to adjust the hue of that grass, and that can come just from very minor element feeding. But yeah, you can. I mean, again, I'm 2 years in with no nitrogen on my grass right now. It's thick as hell. Still don't have any weeds. It's just going fine. I just feed it minors every now and again. I think it got a total of 3 feedings this year. It was minors and I used some aerate. Nothing. Great, no problem. But if I wanted to juice it, I could. Especially now, because the soil can work with so much because of how much I built it up. Its buffer zone is huge. I mean, I can still weed control all over that thing, and it'll just, no problem. I'm gonna try that.
So what are you building your soil up with?
So I am letting this happen naturally. Yeah, neglect, actually. I'm doing it full of neglect. I love those two. No, I stress it out. I stress it out as far as watering goes. I make sure that the roots are growing deep. You know, when I put the lawn in and started it out, it had RGS, it had 1801. Those are the only 2 things I put on it the first year, and then I dropped that all back. So it maybe had like a quarter to a half a pound total. Like I hardly put anything out there, but I gave it a little bit to establish it. Now, just because of the way I water, and it's got great exposure, I'm just letting the roots go and mulching in my clippings every time, and that's it. I mean, I have an old school 1950s reel mower. So across it doesn't even do a good job, but it's enough that I have so many things like working that it's chewing through every bit of material that I put out there. It's rusty, it's you know, like it's just a pile of crap. I neglect it. No, but it's, I just say this. The neglect side of it has led to the most beautiful lawn, and it started off great. So I just let it do natural stuff. Don't get in the way. Stay out of the way. Let it grow.
Don't scuff your lawn, please.
Yeah, I can. No. I love that. So I'm just going to take mine way down, and I'm still going to go with minor element because of what I built up in the soil. Just run it next year. See how it goes. Might as well. It's just grass.
It grows back. That's the thing. That's the thing is everybody's so scared to try something. I mean, us in this room, we're willing and we are willing to do these things, but the people that are not in this room, the average Joe, they're scared. They're scared to put nitrogen on the lawn. They're scared to cut it too short. They're scared to do certain things. You know, Alan Hain drove that home to me when I was in Florida. He's like, these people are scared. And I had no idea. But I was like, well, this stuff is easy. It's not hard. You just have to do it. And so you burn the lawns. Who cares?
It'll grow back.
It'll grow back. In like 3 weeks or a month, it's back. You know, like people are on me all the time for, oh, you're going to spill gas on the lawn. I spill gas on the lawn. I don't care. There's a spot on the lawn, yes. But guess what? It's going to grow back in like 3 months. It's fine. Like I had those big spots where I put some, stuff on there to try to kill the poa, and I've been dealing with those spots. I don't care. Oh, those are so ugly. So what?
So what?
It's just going to freaking grow back. Next year, they'll be gone. So there's just no need to worry and stress about, am I doing this right or wrong? Just go for it and get your feet wet. It's easy to do.
And then, I think anytime anybody criticizes you about what you're doing, you just tell them, kiss my grass.
Scoreboard.
That's it. Kiss my grass. I'm like, I'm going to do it, it's going to grow. I think that's going to be the continual hashtag here for the next while. Kiss my grass.
Yeah, it's easy. Grass is easy, especially in our environment. Maybe you like down south, I don't know what warm season grasses are like, but for here, for us, Kentucky bluegrass, it's simple. Just feed it and it'll knit together, you know? Maybe fescue or rye is not gonna knit together, but bluegrass, you can get that stuff to thicken up like over a season easily with just feeding it, you know, spoon feeding it if it's thin.
That's right, and you know what, it goes drought dormant. You know, you go out of town for 2 weeks and forget to water, you come back, you have a deadline, you start watering it that night, heavy, it will start turning green the next day.
Yeah.
It is so hardy, and just easy to bring back, you stress the crap out of it, it comes back.
Yeah, there's just no stress, and people are so worried, you know, you can't do this, well, why not? Just do it.
Do it.
You know, it's very resilient in our area. You know, as long as it gets water, it's gonna go.
I'm being a little controversial because I feel like Kentucky bluegrass is like that girlfriend you always thought you wanted, and then you get her, and then she's like, oh, crap, I gotta feed her, I gotta train her. I gotta do all this stuff. But it is awkward. It is true though. But no, it is true, the right amount of tendencies of the bluegrass, you can beat it up pretty good, it'll come back, but it does take a little bit to kind of hold it into the balance. But once you get there, then you're good.
Toast it. Yeah.
Is that it?
That it? Yeah, what do you got? Anything else?
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
I bought some of your product through Jeremy, and I did a few lawns. Some lawns would get like stunted or something for 2 or 3 weeks, just like look really dull.
Yeah, aerate.
What was the last mix, Jeremy?
Uh,
After the aerate.
So it was the organics and
In charge, yeah. It's just a quick load, and that's sort of a slow to turn. That liquid is an easy 60-day feeder.
Okay.
It kind of has a slow climb up into where it goes, and then it just sort of takes off. The air rate can stunt in the beginning because of the K levels, and it kind of dries stuff out and then flushes out after that. It might have actually, if you did that beforehand, it probably had some interaction with flushing that gas.
But other lawns, same street, same neighborhood, would take off, like green within days.
Yeah.
Others were 2 or 3 weeks.
There you go. That's like what he was saying. Everything's different.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's watering, soil composition, what's been in there before can affect what goes down. You know, that happens a lot in the pro side where somebody goes and mixes a lawn with, you know, some chelated miners, and it does awesome, and they put it in their whole program, and 30% of the lawns respond, 70 don't. It's because 70 didn't have emissions. So that can be part of it. You know, there's just different things. And sometimes if it's so deficient and you put something on there, it is a little bit of a stunt factor, like, okay, I gotta process this, I can add it, and then you know, it pops out. So.
Is there a way to determine that, what to expect?
Nope.
Nope.
What I tell people is you'll put it out and something will happen.
That's true.
That's it, really. Something's gonna happen. Well,
You shouldn't be seeing bumps in color.
yeah, I mean,
But I try to explain to people, Better Homes Garden, it takes almost a season and a half to 2 full seasons. Because you've got to retrain the soil, you've got to retrain the roots, there's so much going on under that you physically can't see. And then all of a sudden it comes together and boom, it's looking real good.
Right.
But you do have to let the lawn tell you what's going on. You may have some issues that maybe you're just not aware about, that you may need a boost event just real quick to get it out of its funk.
Yeah.
You may, instead of going with the slow route, you may need something a little bit quicker. You may have a sprinkler that's just slightly off and you haven't done a cup test to make sure that you're getting your 1.5 inches of water during the hot months a week. You know, there's just a lot.
yeah. And actually, I think a lot of the time with the foliar application of something, it can, depending on when stuff was applied, what the temperatures, what sunlight was like, you can get it drying on tissue, and that can cause like a little bit of a shock that way as well. That's common. So, you know, water, just water. That would be the thing that usually activates stuff. So if it sits on there, leave tissue too long, you can dry dry up, get a little, it's not really a big deal. But
So what about irrigation pH?
what about it?
Yeah,
What about it?
somebody wants to know about it.
Do it.
Yeah, well, it can affect everything. I mean, if you are watering a ton with high pH water, you're going to affect your soil just because of what is leaving behind. And that's going to be calcium carbonate mostly, and that can tie up your soil over time. So it's something to look out for. In Florida, where they use a lot of secondary water, there's high pH in there. It's very acidic. There's more and more people having to apply sulfur a couple times a year just to offset the water that they're doing, because the more you water with that, the more dehydrated the plant gets. It's wild.
So like, Riverton, you can, flip between the two,
Yep.
irrigation and culinary. You adjust what you're applying based off which water source you're using, or is there not enough variation?
It really just depends. Since your secondary water can change, I think it's good to have a cheap pH meter, just stick on there and see what's happening. That's a good gauge for everything, because, there's target ranges to do, but mostly things should be around neutral. They should be, unless you're getting some, not good stuff. So, I know that what comes out of Utah Lake towards the end of the season is way different than what it starts out with.
Saratoga Springs.
Yeah, so you kind of have to watch it a little bit, and you can flush with, regular culinary water. If you can run a sprinkler, you can push some of those salts out and kind of move it around, but that's something to look at.
I mean, to be honest with what I do, I just use gypsum and humic, and I would put it up to a lot of the pass. And that's been kind of a thing for us in Saratoga Springs. Yeah, so if you see my video online for any grass, I take a little bit of flack on that one, but ultimately, yeah, you get that gypsum, you get an early spring, mid, and it helps push down the crop, like what I'm saying. It's coming back no matter what, because the salt content coming from Utah Lake, and just a lot of things that are happening in the water and the pH, it's a never-ending battle, but if you can get it there, you're always going to be having a battle. It's that stuff. I think, when you dive down the rabbit hole of overall nutrition and chemical interactions and all that kind of stuff, you will completely lose sight of just that green grass. It's a good thing to not learn about. I'm gonna tell you right now. You will lose your minds. Like, well, now I'm not putting down enough nickel. Like, stop. Stop. Don't even worry about it. Look at it. Make sure you don't have any holes in your program. You don't have to, unless you want to have a profession to where you're, just don't. Just look at the grass. Keep it dark green.
They want to know, should you get your water pH tested?
They can do that themselves. If you can just look at it, or if you want to get water tested, if you think that you have issues. Now, that's common in agriculture based on water and pivots and all that stuff. They want to know what's coming out because they can buffer the soil against contaminants that are coming from the water. And oftentimes, the contaminants coming from the water are just what is flushed through from the fields anyway. So, it's up to them. But again, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? If you want to go get it tested and look at it, you'd be like, great, it's tasting water. Now what? So, I just pick how far you want to go. It doesn't hurt, but you're armed with knowing you have water, right? Is there more to that?
How should a homeowner properly treat high pH levels of like 8?
Of 8? Again, this is something we want to look at, see.
ppm is 450, whatever that means. I don't know.
ppm is 450 of what?
I don't know. That's just what it said.
That doesn't apply.
So what's the best way to lower pH in your soil?
In general.
In general.
Okay, so they're the two biggest contributing factors to high soil. Well, three. Let's go. How far do I want to go? Let's make it to 2. Let's just stick with 2 and then we'll get into deeper stuff. But calcium and magnesium are the biggest contributors to high soil pH. Magnesium being about 1.67 times more, like adjusting your pH out is harder. You're going to go in there with sulfur or potassium sulfate, P to kind of get things down. If your calcium's really high, you're actually going to have to apply magnesium, but you're still going to want to bring down some sulfur. So the main buffers that I recommend are gypsum for high pH. That's pretty common because usually magnesium is higher than calcium. If it's not, then I typically recommend a KMS, which is, or KMAG, if anybody's ever seen that, because it's got higher potassium, sulfur, and magnesium, or just straight up elemental sulfur.
If we put down gypsum, is that a long-term solution or just a short-term?
It's pretty short. You know, when you think about soil constructs as it is, the top 6 inches of your topsoil over an acre weighs about 2 million pounds. Okay, if you're going to put down a 50-pound sack of something over an acre, don't expect major changes. That's nothing. So it's a slow build. But if we can get our CECs more in balance, so that you see good calcium, magnesium, potassium, and that salt content is in balance, even if the pH is shifted one way or the other, we will have a good flow through of nutrients. So that piece is really communicating with the soil in the best way. So it's important to look at. Follow-up question? Just went away. We're done. Anything else?
They're gone.
I got another one.
Yeah, we were.
Jacob has solution and transition zone. Not a lot of information on warm season transition. Is it okay to winterize Solution with fertilizer in the fall?
Of course. Where is it? See, you said where is it?
Where are you?
Where are you? Any transitions that can pretty much run Oklahoma across if he's in the Carolinas. It's just going to depend where he is. Nothing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Typically, on the warm season grasses, stuff that's going to stay doesn't go dormant. Usually, you're putting down potassium around this time, and anything that's going to go dormant, I like to put an inload out beforehand so it comes out back in the springtime. It's pretty standard. Yeah. All right. That's it. Is that it?
Anything else?
That's it. All right.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
We're done.
That's it. Yes. You're a professional.
They want to know what's in that tumbler, John. He did that question. He told me that he's standing there. I couldn't get his attention on what's in the tumbler. Hi, Toby. Oh, I'll find out about the soil probe. I will right now. Hey, Ginger. Here's a question for you. Do you take your soil probe to church?
Dude, I take my soil probe everywhere.
To church, though. So he said yes. He says he takes it to church.
So I have a question. I actually asked that question but he's so gay.
Okay, guys, so I am going to wrap this up. I'm going to just talk to these guys here, and we are done. No, I'm not buying the outlet. It's too expensive. It's like 12 grand for the outlet. I can't afford that. Thanks, Jake. See you guys. Hey, Jake the Lawn Kid. I wish I would have seen you guys at the old GIE, but I went camping with my kids, so that was really fun. Anyways, I will see you guys later. I will try to put up a video of this or something a little later. Can you repost to your channel? Repost what to my channel? Okay, I'll see you guys.